get into relationships, because this is the thing that came up that I thought we were going to get into. I didn't even know about these other things. Like that stuff makes this like not even a big deal. Because when I asked, what is something we might not know about you?
Yeah.
I speak 2 languages and was in an arranged marriage at age 18. That jumped off the page to me, and I was like, that's something that I think there's something there. I had no idea about the siblings and things like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know about that. But tell us a little bit about that. That's part of the culture?
Yeah, it's part of the culture. As you know, I'm Cambodian, and my parents were arranged as well. So because of it, they think, history, let's do the same thing for me. So when I was about 14, 15, my parents met a really nice family, and they had a son that was my age, and they had made a decision that we were going to get married at 18. This is something that unfortunately is beyond my control, his control, something that we had to...
Both of you guys were 18?
At the time we were both 16, I think 15 or 16, but we ended up getting married at 18, and it's one of those things where growing up, you had to respect your parents, you had to respect your culture. This is something you have to do. If you don't, you might get disowned, right? As a teenager, that's all I knew.
Right.
So I knew if I didn't do it, my community's gonna disown me, my family's gonna disown me, and I'll be left alone by myself. So,
did you want to do it at that time?
Oh no, I did not want to do it at all.
You didn't.
I did not stand up for myself, because I love my parents, I respect my parents, and I thought that they were doing the right thing for me, to have a better future. So because of that, went through it. I had a wedding, everything was great, and then finally I just realized that's not who I am.
Yeah.
And again, I was trying to please my community, trying to please my family, trying to please everybody else. I wasn't making myself happy. So the toughest decision I've had to make was standing up for myself and telling my parents I can't. This is something I can't do. And
how old were you when that happened? Like
I was 18. It took 30 days.
30 days.
About 30 days.
Oh, so you had a wedding at
18,
30
and then 30 days later. Yeah, it took 30 days.
Did you try to talk to them before this happened, or you just went along with it and just
went
kind of
along
kept your mouth
with
shut?
it. I was scared out of my mind. So I just went along with it. Had a beautiful wedding, gorgeous. But finally, 30 days later, I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I know I'm trying to please my family, my community, but this is not right. So I stood up for myself and I talked to my parents, which was a rough conversation, right, to tell your parents that. And then,
well, what about the conversation with this guy?
Yeah, it was tough too. He didn't like it either.
Was he didn't like the conversation, or he didn't like the idea of marrying?
No, he loved the idea of marriage. He was all for it. And actually, before we got married, I actually called him and I said, hey, the only way we can call off this wedding is if you do it.
Yeah.
Because if I do it, I'm going to get disowned. But if you do it, it's okay because you're a man. He's like, no, you're going to be my wife, so it's going to happen.
Really? And so this guy grew up around here, or what?
No, Cincinnati, actually.
Cincinnati?
Yeah.
And how did they meet him?
It was an Asian function, I guess, and my parents met his family.
Function?
Yeah. Honestly, if you ever want to find a husband or wife, you go to one of our functions.
This is good advice.
And there's our available women and men that are looking for a husband and wife. So if you want it, let me know.
And so they decide right then and there.
Yeah.
Or do they go through a process of meeting him and interviewing him and shit like that?
Yeah, talk to each other. One of the things about arranged marriage is, and you probably hear in other culture, is what you have in the background, right? Money, how much money you have, how much can you offer, what can you offer, what can you provide for my child.
So it's more about stability and the type of life than it is necessarily the quality of person kind of thing?
Yes, it is. And he fit the perfect his family fit the perfect background of everything they have that could support me in the future. Mm-hmm. So my parents agreed to it.
Okay, and then so you met, and how did the first date go?
I mean, I barely talked to him every day. Every time we had meetings, I just ignore him every time.
Meetings?
Meetings, when my parents get together, I would ignore him, but it didn't matter.
It didn't matter?
No,
okay.
It didn't matter.
All right.
He knew he wanted to marry me, so can you blame him?
You're right. He's like, jackpot.
So, yeah.
All right, so 30 days in, how long did it take for you to have the conversation with him?
Every day.
What was the honeymoon like?
There's no honeymoon.
There's no honeymoon.
Never consummated the marriage for 30 days, just to let everybody know. I think that really...
Just so we're clear.
Yeah, just so we're clear, everybody. It did not happen. So after he just couldn't, he was like, wow, you're my wife and you're not going to consummate the marriage. I'm like, no, it's not happening. So after a while, he just got frustrated, and I think we got into arguments, pushing and shove, and I actually ran away from home once because of it. And then he realized he was not gonna change my mind, and we both he talked to his parents, and I talked to my parents, and then we agreed to the separation. So the good thing is we never got married legally. So we're just through our culture marriage.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
So what lessons do you have to take away from that? Like how did it go with the family? So basically, I think we're kind of like underplaying the fact that like you're talking about a whole culture.
Yes.
You're talking about a whole culture.
Yes.
So there's like the fear of,
yes.
or the reality of everyone looking down at you.
100%
because
every day.
this is what we do here, and
yes.
like you are to toe the line
yeah.
and not ruffle any feathers and kind of deal with this. So what was all that like for an 18-year-old girl?
It was very hard because my parents couldn't show their faces to functions for a while. You know, they're embarrassed, they're afraid of the answer. People asking them questions why, and for me, I didn't show my face for a long time. Couldn't go to the temple. I knew people were talking about me. It was a very tough time. Looking back at it, I don't regret it, just because I got my freedom and got to be able to do the things I'm doing now because of it. I could have been stuck in a marriage that I didn't want to be in. You know, instead I'm out here able to independently take care of myself without any help from anyone. So yeah.
So did that mess with you for a while?
Yeah. I didn't leave the house.
Like did you beat yourself up over it, kind of? Like were you hard on yourself? Did you feel like where was it coming from? Did you feel like you screwed up, or did you feel like you like what?
I think for me more, I wish I stood up earlier instead of letting the wedding happen. I think for me that would beat me up more because I felt bad that my parents had to do the whole wedding. People came, invited, all that stuff, and then stood up for myself. The only regret, I wish I stood up earlier.
Okay.
At 16, 17 when that was happening, I should say, hey, no, that's not for me.
So is that the takeaway then?
Definitely the takeaway. Takeaway is if you in your gut and you feel it, say something about it. Yeah. You holding back is not. It's going to create.
But do you think that at 18 years old, because let me just this is something that I deal with, and then because of acknowledging the fact that I deal with it, I think a lot of other people deal with it.
Yeah.
Is that it's like we judge ourselves. So going back to compassion, right? I think compassion is both external and internal. You have to have a lot of compassion with yourself.
Yeah.
But I think if we feel a certain way sometimes that there are rules against, right? It's like we want to judge ourselves, it's wrong to feel that way. I shouldn't feel that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus being like, all right, why do I feel that way? Where's that coming from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like at 18, I think that might have been more of the case. Is like you're kind of dealing with those things well, everyone's telling me something, but I don't necessarily feel that way, and am I wrong? You know?
Yeah.
That's one of the worst feelings that we can have as humans, is feeling like we are, shame is
it is.
It's horrible, because it's not that you did something bad, it's that you are bad, you're a bad person, you know what I mean? And that's really hard to come out of.
Yeah. I mean, I feel guilty every day. At that time, trying to back and forth, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, how I'm going to do it. But you're right. At 18 years old, you're getting told so many different things, and this is ingrained in you since you were born, right? Arranged marriage is something that is in our culture. Is that I know. So going against that is very hard to do. You're going against just not your parents. You're going against your community, so that's something that I had to overcome, and I'm in a better place because of it now. Yeah.
That's cool. Do you think there's a lot of that still? People,
not anymore.
It's sort of fading away.
Yeah, I think it's fading away. There might be it back at home, but not here.
Yeah.
I think people have the ability now to date, and I think the generation.
I feel like people have enough trouble being with people that they want to be with.
Yeah. Imagine being arranged with someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even your decision.
It wasn't my decision. Yeah.
But it's interesting that your parents did figure it out. They you said they didn't like each other at first.
Yeah, and then they figure it out, and I think I didn't, and I never blame my parents. One of the things because that's all they know.
Yeah, they don't know any better.
They don't know
either.
any better.
Right.